Bert Spofford was a baseball coach at AHS for 9 years. He brought respectability back to AHS after some down years. He was much more than a coach. His folksy wisdom was a trademark of Bert's, always a great storyteller. His ability to relate to kids was unmatched. He had a way of getting his point across without raising his voice or talking down to someone. His ability to relate to pitchers was amazing. A great athlete in his own right, Bert himself was a great pitcher. He played football, basketball, and baseball at Georgetown High School. He then went on to Sanborn Seminary Prep School and played all 3 sports. At the seminary, he struck out 156 batters and 105 innings. After prep school, he went on and pitched and graduated from Cornell University. His teams at AHS were always competitive. They regularly made the states and in 1977 advanced to the state finals and then the sectional finals in 1979. Several years later, Bert became an assistant coach for Jerry Mondelto. He has this to say about Bert. I played one summer for Bert. I knew he was Dickie's dad, the guys from Georgetown. I was not around when Bert coached at the high school much, but I followed him after he retired. Bert was the connection for a lot of us who played baseball in the area, the connection to the past. Baseball being a game of stats and history, he could talk about our fathers because he saw some of them play. That was a big deal to hear a story about a play or a game your dad played in. Remember that back then, not too many photos and definitely no videos were taken in the 30s and 40s. Any of us who loved baseball enjoyed hearing the names of the past, and in the next breath, he'll be talking about the current day players. To have him on the bus with the team was special, or see him in the dugout, or sitting in his purple car reviewing the stats after the game. Whatever game it was, that day was the most important game to him. He made everyone on the bus feel it, and you know what? The best part was the respect the young kids who didn't know him showed him every single day. We all have Bert stories, Jerry continued. One of my favorites was a game against Linfield. Bottom of the 6th, game tied at 2. We have a man on third with 1 out. We decide to run the squeeze play as the third baseman was playing deep. When out of our dugout, you hear yell, and remember, Bert had 2 hearing aids and couldn't hear well. Good time to squeeze with the third baseman playing so deep. Yep, the third baseman moved in and we called off that play. That was Bert. Bert also ran the park program for the kids in the summer for many years. He was always a hands-on guy, not one to delegate to others. He was always there for the kids. Bert was also a great historian. Bert painstakingly went to the library 4 or 5 days a week to record the history of AHS football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. He did this by digging into old newspapers, microfiche, and yearbooks. He started this from the first year of AHS. He also did this for Georgetown and Newport as well. This was all done by hand. The AHS Athletic Hall of Fame would not be here today if not for his tireless work. We who love AHS athletics all owe him a great debt of gratitude for the incredible job he did. In his later years, he said the greatest reward was all the former players who would stay in touch. Whether it be a phone call or seeing him at the park watching a game, or even at the gym in the winter at basketball games, it always brought a smile to his face. It is with great pride and appreciation we induct Bert Spofford into the AHS Athletic Hall of Fame.
Representing Bert is his son, Dick Spofford.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dick Spofford, the proud son of Bert Spofford, whom I am sincerely honored to represent tonight. Before I go any further, I would like to, on behalf of my dad, express condolences to the Dodia and Motzis families, who my dad had a very close affiliation with. I know my dad would be very saddened for the passing of your loved one. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and all the people who have worked so diligently to make this prestigious event possible, and in particular, to congratulate all of the inductees and recognize their achievements and contributions to the fine community of Amesbury and to the programs in which they excel at Amesbury High School. For those of you who never had the honor of knowing my dad, his achievements and background have been well chronicled in this area throughout the years, on and off the athletic fields, as an accomplished athlete, a coach, a sports historian, and an active community leader in youth programs and numerous other activities. as well as a retired colonel from the United States Army, much of which was recognized in this wonderful video presentation. However, there is so much more that define this unique man that are not captured, except for the lucky ones who had the privilege of knowing him. Bert was born April 4th, 1917, born and raised in Georgetown, 11th generation, direct descendant of the first settlers of Georgetown. He attended Pearly Free School, of which he is a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame. Graduated from Sanborn Seminary in Kingston, New Hampshire. Went on to Cornell, graduating May 25th, 1942. After graduating, came home after his mother and dad welcomed him home. The first thing they did was said, "Son, here's an envelope for you." Yeah, it was a draft notice. And about 3 weeks later, he was in the United States Army, serving in World War II. This was something that Dad was very, very proud of. He was extremely patriotic, as well as the family. He served in the United States Army from 1942, retiring in 1970 as a retired lieutenant colonel after 28 years of service. I would be remiss without pointing this out, because I know it's something I'm very proud of, my dad is very proud of, and it's something quite unique. As I had said, Bert was in the United States Army. His brother Roland was in the United States Navy. Their father, my grandfather, Harold, enlisted in the Navy Seabees at 49 years of age. Yes, they were all actively serving in World War II. I know when I say that I see the eyes roll and the amazement, and people start calculating in their head, how the hell did this happen? Well, through the efforts of the Newburyport News, as well as the Eagle Tribune, they put together several years ago a book, Veterans North of Boston, and it's documented in there and confirmed. And I would be remiss, as I had said, Bert was very, very proud and very patriotic. And one of his proudest moments was in 2006. His granddaughter, my daughter, Mary, enlisted in the United States Army, following in Gramps' footsteps. She is now in her 14th year as a JAG officer instructor, currently holding the rank of major. In 2006, when she was shipping out to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri for boot camp, and I say it affectionately if I use the old man, meaning Dad, and that's affectionately and lovingly, he said, "That's it." He could hardly get around, walked with 2 canes. He says, "I'm going to see my granddaughter." And he did, and he made it. And in 2007, we lost Dad. But that was one of the proudest moments in his life. At the present time, as the video recognized, there is a memorial baseball tournament, the Bert Spofford Memorial Baseball Tournament, that is held every Memorial Day, involving Georgetown, Pentucket, Newburyport, and Triton. And initially, Amesbury and Ipswich were originally in. At Georgetown High School, there was an electric baseball scoreboard that is erected there at the ball field, and it was donated by the Friends of Bert Spofford. Georgetown also has a Bert Spofford Baseball Memorial Trophy awarded to a player who best personifies Bert's values. Bert came to Amesbury in the mid-1960s. He married my stepmother, my wonderful stepmother, the late Doris Darling. And in that marriage, he became instantly a stepfather of 4 girls who he cherished. Alita, who is here tonight, her sister Karen, Susan, and Linda, each of whom graduates of Amesbury High School. As the video recognized, Bert, being an area sports historian, who self-authored over 16 books. His works have been referred to by many as the reference Bible. But as Bert would say, if you ever scored a point, got a hit, scored a goal, or a touchdown, you're in one of these books. One might ask, what would compel somebody to take on a project such as this? To which Bert would respond, I guess it was a labor of love and to keep this old man going. But above all, his primary premise for his works were, as he said, I just wanted to set the record straight and recognize the individual participants in the past who set the foundation for what we have today, so that they would never, never be forgotten. Some of Bert's most treasured moments, over and above all the accolades, all the everythings that have been bestowed upon him, some of his most treasured moments that he held closest to his heart was the feeling of playing a role in a kid's development, both on and off the field. He always took special pride in offering advice in what he called words of wisdom, believing that he may be playing a role in helping to develop a kid, both as an athlete, but more importantly, as a person. For Bert, there was no greater reward than years down the road, having that same kid coming up and thanking him for never giving up on him and for giving him a chance. Bert would stress the importance of striving for everything that's fun, positive, and productive in life, emphasizing, don't ever shortchange yourself, because once that day passes, you can never get it back. But don't ever try to be someone or something who you're not. He always tried to correlate athletics to real life by saying, be smart, stay aggressive, and don't ever give up. Remember, you can control what you do. You can't control what others do. Yes, Bert was a unique individual who always prided himself as being just one of the boys, who practiced what he preached, living by his words of wisdom. It is these values I always felt made my dad the very special person that he is, and some of the main reasons we're here tonight, keeping his legacy alive. He is my hero, and I am proud to say, my dad. I am truly honored to be a part of this event and to know that somewhere my dad is smiling down with humble pride. I thank each and every one of you. I thank the committee, and it's my honor to be here. Be safe, and thank you again.